we have studied the law of demand, which shows that when price changes, demand also changes. Law of demand only tells you the direction, किस दिशा में कीमत गिरती है, डिमांड बढ़ती है, price falls, demand rises. But a question comes into the mind: at what rate? डिमांड किस रेट से बढ़ती है? That answer is provided by another topic related to demand, which is called price elasticity of demand. अभी हमने कहा at what rate. The rate means degree. So degree of change in what? Demand. We can say the degree of response. The degree of response. Response of what? Response of demand. Demand किसको respond करती है? To change in price. So what does this price elasticity of demand measure? There are three words: price, elasticity, and demand. This concept measures the degree of response of demand to change in the price. The degree of response simply means the rate of change, the ratio of change. And this ratio is expressed as, I write EP. P for price, E for elasticity. This is in brief, what we call price elasticity of demand. It is simply percentage change in quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price. Percentage change in price. Take a very small example. Suppose there is 5% change in demand, change in price. कीमत 5% घट गई. Now घट गई का मतलब माइनस, जिसकी वजह से डिमांड 10% बढ़ गई. मान लीजिए 10%, let us say plus. Obviously, the answer would be -2. Now, what does this -2 mean? It is simple. Class 3rd question, class 4th question, unit sums, which you had done when you were a child. It's simple. If 5% change in price leads to 10% change in demand, 1% change in price leads to 10 upon 5 is equal to 2% change in demand. The 2 is derived. Now you can interpret this 2, -2. Leave out minus first and then we talk of minus later. 2 means 1% change in price leads to 2% change in demand. We can improve this statement further and say, since we have used minus sign indicates inverse relation between price and demand. So minus 2 will mean 1% change, 1% fall in price leading to 2% rise in demand. This is how we interpret the numerical measure of price elasticity of demand. Now, since there is an inverse relation between demand and price and demand, the numerical answer of price elasticity must always be in minus. Now, there is a confusion between student community and sometimes in the teacher community as well. And that confusion arises on account of different books talking of different things. Let us remove this confusion. When you compare price elasticities, now here our answer is minus 2. Suppose there is some other answer which is minus 3. Now which price elasticity is greater? Minus 2 or minus 3? If you base your answer on the basis of mathematics, your answer will be that minus 2 is greater than minus 3, which means suppose this commodity is X and this is Y. Demand for commodity X is more elastic than demand for commodity Y, which is wrong. In fact, demand for commodity Y is more elastic than demand for commodity X. The reason is before you. A 1% change in the price of X leads to 2% rise in demand for X, and 1% fall in price of Y leads to 3% rise in demand for Y, a higher rise. Therefore, Y is more elastic than X. Now what do we do? Should we use minus or should we ignore minus? In fact, we do both. The general rule is while calculating EP, don't ignore minus sign. While comparing EPs, ignore minus sign. Ignore minus sign. Ignoring minus sign means what? Ignoring minus sign means take absolute values. Don't make the mistake in the examination. If you are asked to solve a question on elasticity, then if minus comes, let it come. Don't ignore it. But if you are asked to compare price elasticities, then take only absolute value. You have to ignore minus sign. This is the general rule. When we study further this topic, keep this thing in mind. Minus sign should not be ignored during calculation of price elasticity. It should not be ignored. After this, we come to methods of measurement. we come to methods of measurement. Now method mean what? हमें कैसे मालूम पड़ेगी -2 है, -3 है, -4 है, 0 है, क्या है? इसके 3 मेथड्स इस्तेमाल किए जा सकते हैं. These 3 methods are percentage change, 2 geometric, 3 total expenditure. एक्सपेंडिचर को हम आउटले भी कहते हैं. 3 मेथड्स हम पढ़ेंगे. इन मेथड्स में कोई फर्क है या नहीं है, कोई डिफरेंस है या नहीं है, डू दे प्रोड्यूस द सेम रिजल्ट? We will note these things during the explanation of these. As a first, let us take the first, percentage change method. In fact, we have already given you the hint of this method. According to this method, EP is equal to percent change in demand divided by percent change in price. This is the method broadly. Let us take a numerical example. We take price, quantity demanded. Let it be 5, 4, 100, 200. This is in units and this is rupees. तो अगर कीमत 5 रुपए पर 100 यूनिट कंज्यूमर मांगता है और 4 रुपए पर 200 मांगता है, तो प्राइस elasticity of demand क्या होगी? Initially, let us give them some name. Say this is P1, this is P2, this is Q1, this is Q2. Now this is it. इसमें हम देखिए, वैसे तो it's simple. There is a 20% fall in price leading to 100% rise in demand. So 100 divided by 20 minus 20, the answer would be -5. So we can find out orally if we simply use this method. We can find out it orally, or even if we put figures here. But there is a generalized version. इसका एक generalized version भी है. And that generalized version is like this. Percentage change in demand. Change in demand is Q2 minus Q1 divided by Q1 multiplied by 100. See, we are applying simple mathematics. हम यहाँ simple mathematics इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं. तो percentage change in demand is like this, and percentage change in price P2 minus P1 upon P1 into 100. Now when we solve it further, 100 gets cancelled because numerator as well as denominator, they get cancelled. Let us call Q2 minus Q1 as delta Q upon Q1. I hope you are familiar with this sign in mathematics. This stand, that the triangle stands for delta, and delta means change. So change in Q divided by delta P upon P1, we solve it further, delta Q upon Q1 multiplied by P1 upon delta P. This can be further generalized as P1 upon Q1 into delta P, delta Q upon delta P. This is the generalized version. This is okay. If you get simply percentage figures, you can right away use this method. But if you get these figures 5, 400, 200, then it's better to use this method. For example, P1 is equal to 5, Q1 is equal to 100, delta Q is equal to 100, remember it is plus 100, and delta P is minus 1. Now since there is only one minus here, the answer will be in minus, and the answer will be minus 5. What does this minus 5 indicate? It indicates 1% fall in price leads to 5% rise in demand. That is what, because there is an inverse relation. Now remember, for examination purposes, what do you find? This is the percentage method formula. How many variables are there? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 variables. If you are given just 4, the value of just 4, you can find out the other one. So in the examination, you may be given EP, Q1, P1, delta P. You are asked to find delta Q. You may have asked to find P1, and other 4 are given. So when you apply those, substitute those figures here, you will get the answer. And remember, when you substitute the value of EP in that question, it should be minus 5, not 5. माइनस 7 मिला. अभी मैंने कहा था कैलकुलेट करें तो माइनस को इग्नोर ना करें, माइनस को साथ साथ चलने दें. कंपैरिजन में जाके इग्नोर करना पड़ता है, इसमें नहीं. इस चीज को आप ध्यान में रखिए. More you practice, more you will be able to understand these things. So this is one method. Something more about this method. एक और नई कॉन्सेप्ट इलास्टिसिटी में हम आप पढ़ने जा रहे हैं. एक टर्म है इलास्टिक, दूसरी टर्म है इनइलास्टिक. Remember, there may be confusion about inelastic. Inelastic का मतलब elasticity less than 1 होता है, elasticity 0 नहीं होता है. ये ध्यान करिए. Inelastic means elasticity less than 1. So inelastic means EP less than 1, and elastic means EP greater than 1. Whenever this term elasticity is used loosely, for example, the elasticity of demand for this commodity, or demand for this commodity is elastic, immediately it should come into your mind, it is greater than 1. How much greater? That we have to calculate. It says demand for this commodity is inelastic. Immediately it should come into your mind less than 1. And remember, less than 1 doesn't mean 0. 0.9 is also less than 1. 0.8 is also less than 1. Like this, up to 0, it is less than 1. Greater than 1 doesn't mean 2 or 3 or 4. It may be up to any. It may go up to infinity. कुछ भी हो सकता है वैल्यू. 1 से ले 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 20, 100, 200, इन्फिनिटी, कुछ भी हो सकता है. तो इससे हमें कम से कम 4 मेजर्स मिल जाते हैं किसके, इलास्टिसिटी को एक्सप्रेस करने के। 1, 2, 3, 4। क्या डिफरेंस है दोनों में? ये इसका एक्सट्रीम है, दिस इज एक्सट्रीम ऑफ दिस एंड दिस इज द एक्सट्रीम ऑफ दिस। नाउ वन थिंग इज मिसिंग। अब आप कहेंगे साहब ठीक है, ये ग्रेटर देन 1, ये लेस देन 1, वेयर इज इक्वल टू 1? देन देयर इज, उसको हम बोलते हैं unitary elastic. Here EP is equal to 1. Now note, I have not used the sign minus here. Why? Because now I am comparing with less than 1, with more than 1, with 1 and all that. So if elasticity is neither greater than 1 nor less than 1, we call it equal to 1 and it is called unitary elastic. Okay, so this gives us 5 categories of this numerical value of this. We can start with when EP is equal to 0, then EP is equal to less than 1, then EP is equal to 1, then EP is greater than 1, and EP is equal to infinity. 5 categories. Since this is inelastic, this is inelastic, both are inelastic, but since this is extreme, we call it perfectly inelastic, and we call this simply inelastic. Both are inelastic, ये भी inelastic है, ये भी inelastic है, लेकिन क्योंकि ये एक्सट्रीम वैल्यू है इसलिए हमने इसको परफेक्टली inelastic बोल दिया। इसको हम बोलते हैं यूनिटरी इलास्टिक, इसको हम बोलते हैं सिंपली इलास्टिक, और इसको हम बोलेंगे परफेक्टली इलास्टिक। परफेक्टली इलास्टिक। तो याद रखिए मोटे तौर पर देयर आर ओनली 3 कैटेगरीज, इलास्टिक, इनइलास्टिक, यूनिटरी इलास्टिक। इलास्टिक में फिर हम 2 कैटेगरीज कर देते हैं, एक्सट्रीम केस परफेक्टली इनइलास्टिक, extreme case perfectly inelastic. So we have 5 categories. So if the term is used loosely in a question, the demand for this commodity is elastic, immediately it should come into your mind, is talking of elasticity greater than 1. This is one method of measuring price elasticity of demand. These 5 categories, they are applied to all the methods. Then second method is geometric method. We also call it point method. Why do we call it a point method? We will see just now.